guys, welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you things to consider when renting a house in the UK. This video is a must watch before you pay. If it's your first time here, hi, welcome. My name is Teosi. Consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on any of my relocation stories or relocation tips and all of the other motherhood and lifestyle things that I share on this channel. If you're a returning subscriber, hey, welcome. This video is a sequel to my other relocation video, which I'm going to link somewhere here. I find that a lot of people ask me questions about relocation, things about, settling with children, how to find a house, and all of these things. Recently, a friend visited my house and she noticed a few things, which were, I needed to go to the GP, and I said to her, it's just about 2 minutes away. Oh, I need to pick up the boys from the school. It's just on this other side and it's about 4 minutes away. We need to go to the store to quickly buy a few things from Aldi. It is right at the back of my house. And she went, Teosi, did you consider all of these things before you chose this house? And I was like, absolutely, yes. I'm going to be sharing with you things you need to consider that will make your life easy when you are renting a house in the UK. This video is a must watch before you pay. I know you may have found somewhere that you really like in terms of like how the house looks and all of that, but trust me, beyond how the house looks, there are other things you need to consider that will make your life either easy or miserable in a particular environment if you do not consider them properly. If I was going to start to rent a new house today, these things I'm going to share with you guys in this video are things that I would definitely consider. I had lived in a different part of the UK before, and I saw some of the things that frustrated me as a person, especially a black person with children, and I said to myself, if I'm going to move house, I will never forget these things again. So this list is something you want to write down after you've made your decision about the house you want to choose based on external and internal features of the house. These things I'm going to be talking about in this video are things you want to consider outside of the property itself. Trust me, not considering these things is going to make your living in that particular place you've chosen either easy or miserable. You choose your struggle. The first thing you want to consider about renting a house in the UK before you make payment is the local schools near the house. When I was choosing our house in Milton Keynes sometime last year, one of the things that was very big on my list was what are the schools around the house and how far or close is the school to this particular house I chose. Adam and Asha's school is just 4 minutes away if I am walking. Can you imagine that? Such that even if they call me for emergency from the school, I really don't have to think about it. I just dash out, run to their school, get them and come back home. Go online, find a list of schools in that particular environment by putting the postcode. Just put the postcode on Google and say schools in this postcode. Google up all the schools, check their Ofsted ratings and see which one you think will be the best for your children. Next thing you want to do after checking the Ofsted rating is how far or close is this particular accommodation you're considering to your children's school. Trust me, you don't want a school that is too far away for your children to either walk back by themselves or for you to run to the school just in case they call you for an emergency. So schools in the environment is very, very important. Find something that is easy for you to access, not too far from the house, and also still with good Ofsted rating so that your children can get quality education. The next thing you want to consider when renting a house in the UK, of course after you have done the house viewing, is public transportation links. If you're coming from Nigeria or from any other country and you're just relocating to the UK, I'm assuming you probably don't have a car already. So you want to think about it. How close is this house to the bus stop? Where is the bus station, right? How many different kind of transport opportunities or choices do you have? For example, where I live in Milton Keynes, even before I got a car to move us around, I could take Uber, I could take Bolt. There's something called MK Connect. At least there is a bus shed near my house that MK Connect stops. There are also normal buses that stop really close to my children's school, which I already mentioned is just about 4 minutes away. So before deciding to pay for that accommodation, check, go online, put your postcode and Google up what transportation options you have. The reason is this, especially if you have children, it becomes very frustrating to move around. Also, check how close the shops are. You know, are you able to take bus to go to these shops? If you can't, there is no point. I know that you have options of, you know, maybe buying things online, but having as many options as possible for transportation to your house or out of your house is such a profound thing to consider before you make payment for that accommodation. Off the back of public transportation links, the next thing you want to consider is your work commute or school commute during rush hours. If you go and take accommodation in a place where trying to get a bus in the morning or the rush hour commute is terrible, trust me, it will make you more frustrated than make your life easy. For example, where we were initially staying before we moved to our current accommodation now in Milton Keynes, when we first came, was such a difficult place to access my children's school, such that I couldn't get on MK Connect to take them to school. If I was going to take Bolt or Uber or whatever, it was almost ×3 of the price during quiet times. I didn't consider that, but because I knew that I wasn't going to be there permanently, I really didn't mind. For example, during quiet time, taking taxi from where I was staying then to my children's school will cost me just about £5. But during rush hours, it will be about £10 something. And this is because a lot of people are trying to book the taxi. Sometimes I would even book and they will cancel on me last minute. So you want to think about it. If I'm going to work at this time in the morning, is this accommodation going to make it easy for me to get taxi on time? Is it closer to where I'm going to work? How far is it from my school? How far is it from work? These little things. It is when you are neck deep into it that you realize that, you know what, I actually didn't consider this thing properly. I was initially frustrated when I would then try to book taxi to go to the madam school. What I started doing that time was that I will now book the taxi 1 hour before I need it, so that it will come. Then guess what? We will get to my children's school 40 minutes or 1 hour earlier. Then we'll go and stand in the cold because I needed to beat the rush hour troubles. These are things that I didn't consider. These are things you want to consider because I have made this mistake to make your own life easy. So think about it. If you have to take your children to school in the morning, what's the rush hour commute like? If you have to take taxi or however it is you have to get there, is it convenient? Is it easy? If not, you might want to consider another place because you'll be there for a very long time. You need to make your living in a particular place very easy. So think about the commute to work, to school, or for your children. The next thing you want to consider when looking to take a rental property in the UK is noise level in the area. A lot of us don't know how noisy an area can be when we are doing viewing. It is worth going there at different times. Go to that area in the morning, see how it is generally. Go there in the afternoon, see how it is. Go there in the evening, see how it is. That's something I did. When I had decided I wanted this property, I came here during the morning. It was really quiet. I came here in the afternoon, just drove around just to see generally how the environment was. It was nice. In the evening, it was equally good. The reason you want to consider this noise level is this. If naturally you're somebody who your job requires for you to be in a calm environment, if you're studying, you want the environment to be calm, you don't want an area that is very noisy or, you know, that is on near the road where there are too many cars passing that you barely have any peace. You need to consider these things because you're going to live in this house for a year. You know, initially, you want to make sure that the environment, the ambience is such that you find it peaceful. Some of you may be thinking that, oh, after all, I'm going to lock the door in my house. Yes, but trust me, if the environment is noisy, there's nothing you're going to do about it. You have to deal with that noise. I knew that noise was a deal breaker for me. I wanted an environment that was calm, that was quiet, that was also good to raise children. You don't want a place where there's always buzz. It's almost like you are still living in Africa or wherever it is that you're coming from. You want to make sure that if noise is a deal breaker for you, you want to go and check that area very well. Is it very noisy? Another thing, is it crowded? Areas that are crowded are usually very noisy because you can't avoid it. So I knew noise was something I couldn't deal with. So I would come here quietly after doing the house while they were doing other things. I would go and look. Okay, it's quiet now. Let's go and see what it looks like in the evening. You know, how is it? I knew what I wanted and I went for it. So you want to consider noise level in the area, both day and at night. And the only way you can do that is going there, go in the morning, go and have a look. Go in the afternoon, go and have a look. Go in there in the evening. Just drive around and see what happens generally in that environment so that you can make an informed decision. The next thing you want to consider when looking to rent in the UK is to look at the area if there are local shops and amenities. I mentioned earlier that part of the reason why I'm doing this video is because my friend came to visit us and she realized that to the right were local shops and all of that, and then to the back at post office and all of that. and she asked me. I was very intentional when choosing this house to make sure that there were local amenities and shops around. You could literally walk to my GP from my house. The post office is also a stone throw from me. Aldi is barely 3 minutes away. Sainsbury's is about 3 or 4 minutes away. My children's school is another 4 minutes away by walking. These things were very important to me, and I made sure that the house I got was right in the center, such that when I look north, I find something I need. If I look south, I find what I need. If I look east, I can get what I need. If I look west, I can get what I need. The reason is this: you don't want your GP to be too far away, especially when you have children. Because children don't inform you when they want to fall sick or when they want to, be funny. You will not start running around. No. You want to look at those things. I know that some of these things actually affect the price of the property. Because the owners of the houses, to the landlord, they know that this thing is in such, really catchy area where it's easy for you to access this and that. They factor that into the price. But for my own convenience and ease, I made sure that all of the amenities that I need to live a comfortable and peaceful life, they surround me. I don't have to go far to get anything. The big market and the big city, the city center, is just about 7 minutes away by driving. So these things you want to consider, go and check. Ask them, is there a market around here? Is there a farmer's market? Is there a corner shop? Is there a post office? Or are there salons to cut boys' hair? Are there salons to do this? Is there something to do this? Because you want to make sure that all those things are very close to you. They're easy for you to access, so that you don't worry too much, especially when you don't have a car. It's such a nightmare wanting to get around. So you make sure that all of these things that you need to make you live a comfortable life nearly by your doorstep. Another thing you want to consider before you finally pay for that accommodation that you're already thinking about in the UK is to check the crime rate in the area. Trust me, it is such a deal breaker for me. One way that you can check that is by going on Google. Just type the area, type the environment. What's the crime rate in so and so place? Just type crime, so and so place. Oh, crime in the reason is this. You don't want to live in an environment where you cannot even mistakenly maybe not wind up your car glass properly. Children are very funny. So many times my children have mistakenly left my door open. And our environment is such that even if my car has been left open a couple of times, I'm not saying that you should be careless. But what I'm saying is that choosing an environment that has a very low crime rate already makes your life easy. And it also makes raising children in that environment easy, because whether you like it or not, your children are going to eventually, know somebody in the environment, say hello to somebody in the environment. You don't want them to mingle around the people who are criminal, people who have tendencies of being criminal, or, just people who have tendencies of influencing them in whatever way, shape, or form. So you want to investigate and consider the crime rate. Another reason why you need to consider the crime rate is also that you also feel safe. If you live in an area that feels safe, that the crime rate is very low, there's a way that you also live in that kind of environment at peace. You don't want to live in a place where you are worried that you wake up in the morning, somebody would have removed your side mirror. It happens in the UK. Yes, there are areas in Milton Keynes where if you park your car, you come out in the morning, they would have removed your side mirror. They would have removed valuables that they may have noticed in your car. So you need to consider all of those things. As much as an environment may be cheap, sometimes what you save in the rent, right, you pay for in the convenience and in all of these other amenities that you end up having to, live through in frustration. Finally, on my list of things to consider when renting in the UK is to check in the environment if the neighbors are friendly. The reason is this: you are going to stay in this property for at least 1 year before you can decide to leave, except you are willing to pay your landlord the fees for breaking your rental contract early. So it's important that you are in an environment with people who are warm, who are friendly. I'm not saying that you should be entering people's house or be all over the place, but at least a basically warm environment is good. You don't want to stay in an environment that is hostile, or stay around people who are constantly looking for what to say, how to put somebody in trouble. Trust me, there's no harm in asking. When I came viewing this house, the former tenants were still here, and I asked them, "Oh, what's the environment like? What are the neighbors like? Did you enjoy staying here? What exactly is the reason why you're leaving?" And she was honest with me. She said, "Oh, the neighbors are very kind. They might never talk to you, but at least when your parcels come and the postman knock their door and say, 'Can you take a parcel for your neighbor?' they will take it." You may think that this thing I've just said now is not important. If you have to go back to the post office to go and pick up your parcel because a neighbor refused to collect it, then you understand why you need neighbors that are friendly. So she said to me that, oh, they will take your parcel. If they see anything happening, they will come and tell you. They notice anything that is, out of line, they will tell you. They are quite friendly people, but they, they mind their business and all of that. She said that to me, and that gave me some level of comfort. Like I mentioned before, it is not because I want to be friends with them or I want to be, in and out with them or not. It is because there are times that you will not be home. I might have just stepped out to go and drop my children in school. One time, there was a delivery that was coming. It was supposed to be Adam's birthday present from his grandmom or something like that. We were not at home. They delivered it to the neighbor. Apparently, the grandmom had written a wrong address. So they delivered it to my neighbor. The neighbor went on there's a group for the area. The neighbor went on the group and said, oh, who is Adam, so and so and so. There's a parcel that was delivered to me. I held it and I said to the person who delivered it, I will go and mention it in the neighborhood group. Whoever it is can come and collect it, because she knows the stress that it will be for you to go and start, going to from one post office to another. That's why it's very important. Other than that, you guys will look out for each other. If anything is happening, they can, come to your rescue. No man is an island. We all need neighbors who are warm, at least basically warm. So you want to consider that. If you're going to live in an area where everybody is just unnecessarily hostile, people are looking for how to report somebody, or you're not going to even feel comfortable. You're not going to feel safe in that environment. Especially when you have children. There's no way you prevent children from playing with themselves. They will see themselves. They will eventually start to play. If the neighbors are not friendly, it makes the environment even hostile for your children. And you don't want that. You don't want that. So it's something you want to consider. If it's a deal breaker for you, put it on top of your list. Find out from whoever is living in property right now. Or just ask around, oh, what's the neighborhood like? Just for you to be able to make an informed decision before you pay for that house. One of the things that also made me choose our house right now is because you are never far from a park or an outdoor play area. These are things you want to consider, especially when you have children. Because you might be in the house and they are tired, they are bored. Once we step out, 2 minutes away is one park on the left. 2 minutes away, there's another park on the right. All of these things added up to part of the things that made me decide about this, our current house. That's it for this video about things to consider when renting in the UK. If you find this video useful, do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me to know that you like content like this and I'm able to film more. Also, if you have any suggestion, question, whatever it is, don't think about it that it is silly or stupid or anything. I am more than happy to answer so that I can provide information that helps you to make the right decision before you settle for accommodation in the UK. If you're a new subscriber, hi, welcome. My name is TLC. Consider subscribing, join this family. I'm constantly talking about how to settle in the UK, talk about my lifestyle, motherhood, and just generally things that has made my life easy in the UK to help you make the right decision and learn from my mistakes. If you're a returning subscriber, hi, thank you so much for coming back. If you know anyone who is going to find this video useful or any of the videos in my relocation series here, please share with them. You'll be doing them a lot of good, and also you will be helping me to spread the word to make somebody's life easier. If you've done your viewing and you're currently considering a particular property right now, make sure you run that property through this my video and ensure that it ticks all the boxes for you. You know what your deal breakers are. These were my own deal breakers, and it really helped me to put these things at the forefront when I was making a decision about this house. I am at Gregory-jonah on all social media platforms. I love to connect with people who are subscribed to my channel. I love to hear from you. I love to hear your feedback or whatever it is you think I can do better on this channel. Hit the follow button and let's connect. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and sharing. Bye everyone.